My name is Tim Hannon, and I'm the Senior IWRM expert on the Kura Aris UNDP GEF project. Integrated Water Resources Management, or IWRM, is an approach to managing water resources that has developed over the last 20 years or so to be able to improve the way water is managed in a world where water resources are becoming more scarce. The word integrated is important, of course, because what has happened in many countries is that all the elements of water management are rather fragmented. You need to look at surface water, you need to look at groundwater, you need to look at water quality as well as quantity, you need to look at the land through which the water flows before it even gets to a river. And all those things need to be managed together in some way or another in order to really have a good handle on the water in order to manage it. You don't need to put everything together in one organization or one ministry or something like that. There can be many different organizations that play a role as long as there's a way to bring those roles together, to share information, and to have some kind of central body that is ultimately responsible for the water resource as a whole. It's mostly about institutions, how the institutions work, the capacity of those institutions, how they coordinate with each other, but it's also about law and policy, because in many cases the kinds of institutions that are doing various aspects of water management, if they are to coordinate, there needs to be a legal foundation for that. Sometimes you need to develop new organizations, such as an organization that may manage at a river basin level instead of at a municipal or a national level, who need to have a legal foundation so that they can have the authority that they need, so that they can develop budgets and that kind of thing. It's also about making sure that laws and regulations that govern water itself, the management of water, pollution issues, land use issues that may affect water resources, to make sure that those are founded in law so that there can be enforcement of them. So the National IWRM Plan shows you how you can put all this together, what steps you need to take over 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 years, and how much it would cost. Transboundary river projects have been going on for some time now, since there was a realization that as each country all over the world started to develop their own water resources, as their own resource became more and more scarce, that there was a need to look at it at a transboundary level. What has happened up to now is that in many such transboundary river cases, they've tried to set up a regional body, some kind of overarching ruling body that would govern water resources at that international or regional level. And essentially, for all these attempts, very few of them have really worked well. So when this project was first put together, we thought, well, instead of trying to develop this regional body that may not work anyway, why don't we build capacity at each national level, which will take them 10 or 15 years to implement, and by that time there may be a greater understanding of the need to coordinate on water, and they will be ready to do it when that time comes. What we had to do first was begin to figure out what the real problems are, both in the transboundary context and at each national level, which we have been working on since the project started. So we began to put together ideas for the kinds of things that we should be looking at in the national IWRM plans, and we did this partly by a capacity needs assessment that we carried out last winter, and then taking those back to the various national experts and other stakeholders to sort of narrow those down to develop what priorities we should tackle first in the national IWRM plans. So that's part's done. We have a set of priorities for each of the 3 countries. They're not identical in each of the three countries, but they do overlap to a fair extent. Now, over this next 2.5 months or so, we will be outlining all the aspects of the current institutional situation, the current legal and policy situation, the basics of the water resources in each of the country, and their primary issues from a water resource point of view rather than from a management point of view. We expect to be able to finish the full IWRM plans, which is a 4-stage process, by somewhere between the end of 2013 and the middle of 2014. Within the IWRM plan, and in order to implement IWRM, you need a lot of people, and you need a lot of people with very specific technical skills. If we were thinking in terms of Europe or North America, there are many universities that now run IWRM programs, usually at the master's level, and those people are usually either coming from an environmental background or an engineering background or a natural resources background, and then specializing in integrated water resources management at the graduate level. Currently, there are no universities in this region. Indeed, I'm quite sure that there are no universities in the whole of the former Soviet Union that offer such a course. So, given that we need to have a very rapid growth rate of highly trained people over this next 15 or 20 years, you want to be able to send some people away to, let's say, Europe to train, but you want to be able to build capacity within your own country too. So by developing these IWRM master's courses, we provide sort of a foundation, I guess, for being able to train their own people in their own way.